Long before Charlotte, North Carolina had the NFL Panthers and the NBA Bobcats, the Queen City had NASCAR. This weekend, we celebrate the 50th running of the Coca-Cola 600, and we start the party at Food Lion Speed Street in Uptown Charlotte. And perhaps no city embraces the sport of NASCAR racing like Charlotte, North Carolina. In 1960, the very first Coca-Cola 600 was run, NASCAR's longest race. Nearly the entire sport, the industry of NASCAR, located in the Charlotte, North Carolina vicinity. And this town embraces, it loves the sport of NASCAR as part of Food Lion Speed Street. Thousands of race fans here.
Look at them. They're here.
Everywhere.
They're everywhere. That's
and
exactly right.
There's some from Canada back there.
Yes,
I saw
sir.
a couple other places out of the country. This guy over here is from Walnuts, wherever that is. And,
We got people from Vermont, from England, from South America,
Exactly.
from Mexico. We've got them all.
But the most awesome deal, how about the weather? This is about as good as it gets, and this is how it's supposed to be the rest of the weekend, especially when we go racing Sunday night.
That comes as no great surprise, does it?
Not
But
really.
I know what the
He's
weather's
worried
gonna
about
be.
the weather.
Always worried about
Always
the weather.
worried about
but
the
see, we
weather.
told you last weekend during the All-Star event, Mother Nature is a race fan. And she is just right now showing exactly what it's all about here. Beautiful, beautiful downtown weather.
Well, let's open up the Shell Garage and walk down this Charlotte path, shall we?
Let's do. How about, all right, we know we got 600 miles to run on this coming Sunday night, but how about that 100-lapper on Saturday night? I'm going to say one thing. How about double file restarts every week? That's what we need, just that little simple change just to spice things up a little bit.
Well, there was a lot of happiness after the race last weekend, but there was also one thing that I just can't buy into yet, and that's our buddy Carl Long. Now, they took his engine, and I know it was a 358.017, and if you divided that out in 8 cylinders, that means he was 2 thousandths too big in every cylinder. Man bought the motor used. He's run it all year long. Okay, so the rule is, I understand the rule, but here's a team at $200,000 and 200 driver owner points. I mean, he doesn't even have 200 driver owner points. He'll be in the red until next year sometime. I just don't understand why they would come down that hard on a little team like that. Take the man's motor. He won't be able to race for 12 weeks if he just kept his motor. Sir?
I'm glad to hear from Darrell Walter for the defense.
Yes.
But the situation is, and let's kind of like cut to the chase, the man was guilty.
No.
Okay, let's just hang on a minute. Hang on a minute.
All right.
And the best thing that's got Carl Long's got going for him is there is an appeal board that he can go in front of, competition appeal board, guys like Bud Moore, Buddy Baker, you know, a lot of the guys that are on that right now, and he can plead his case. And I'm sure that if you've got time, you go in there and kind of help him make sure that everybody understands that what's fair is fair. But NASCAR had to do it based off of the fact you break the rule, this is what happens to you. So the next person who does understands it don't make any difference whether it's Darrell Waltrip or Carl Long, we're going to do the same thing.
I don't disagree with that. I just disagree with the harshness of the penalty. To put the man in that kind of a shape, that's a team that just barely is able to make it to the racetrack. And to put him in that kind of position, that's what I'm not happy about.
Well, you know what, Steve?
I understand.
I think the appeal committee will do justice there. But with that said,
time out.
10 months ago, everybody was saying, what in the world is Tony Stewart thinking?
Exactly.
Joe Gibbs
Give me 5 on that right there,
a place he's been for 10 years.
Don't leave me hanging.
2 championships.
That's it. Talk about
I think
Tony.
we got our answer last
That's it.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
I mean, he took it to him in the right segment. He only led 2 or 3 laps, but he led the right 2 or 3
Well, you know why? It was his birthday. His birthday was this past week.
Okay.
And he's 38 years old, and he was wanting to have a birthday party, and he needed a good reason, and he might have needed a little money to finance it with. I don't know, but that was an awesome performance.
Well, he got $1 million for his little performance.
Yes, he did.
And I got to say, you talked about double file restarts. The last 10 laps was worth the price of admission.
Yes,
that was
absolutely.
spectacular.
You got that right.
See, I think they ought to just have 5 10-lap races. Just don't have that first segment there where they get all strung out. Just have 5 10-lap races, some sort of process of elimination.
Yeah, you got that right. By the time they run 5 10-lap races, everybody
May not be
eliminated.
anybody left, but that'd be exciting, wouldn't it?
The messages I got out of that race the other night, I love the double file restarts. We've talked about that.
Right.
But the thing I liked, even though it was a long night, it was a short race. And I know some of our races needs to be 500 milers, but I think about some of our races, they're just too long.
Well, this isn't one of them. And let me tell you why, Larry. This race is unique.
The 600 miler,
The 600-mile race
There's a few
here.
that needs to stay what they are.
And here's the thing that Lowe's Motor Speedway, Marcus Smith, and everybody needs to remember. This is one of the crown jewels of our sport. This race is different.
Yep.
It is 600 miles, and it is a great contest of man and machine. And it does last 4 hours. But what an accomplishment when you win this race, when you hang it all together for that long and go home with the trophy in your hand. This is a very special event.
Well, let me say one thing right quick. He knows what he's talking about.
He's got 5 of those
because he's got 5 of these trophies from here from winning a 600-miler. Darrell Waltrip may be the king of Bristol, but he's pretty good little boy here at Lowe's Motor Speedway when it comes to 600 milers.
I'll say, well, it's time for our Advanced Auto Parts. Who's on tonight? We've got a big star tonight. How about Jimmie Johnson? There he is, signing autographs.
Some guy down there impersonating Jimmie
It looks
Johnson.
just like him, but with shorter hair. And
He's
also,
got more face on him, hair on his face than he does on his head.
the Hall of Fame opens up here in about a year from now, and Winston Kelly, the executive director of the Hall of Fame, is here. Now, before we go to break, Rutledge, I think Rutledge is here somewhere backstage.
Hey, thanks, Steve. I'm really getting excited. I'm backstage. Jimmie Johnson's going to be on the show. This is going to be a trackside to remember, and that's why everyone's getting this. This isn't right. Something's not right. I think. Oh no. I think I'm at the wrong stage. Oh, today is Speed Street. I'm at the wrong stage. We gotta get to Charlotte. Which way's downtown? This way. This way. Going to Speed Street. Yeah. Oh man, I am late. How long is this light? Let's go, people. I gotta get to Larry. Green. Green. All the way to the grass. Speed Street, big stage, downtown Charlotte. Anybody? GPS or something.
Trackside is presented by new Shell Nitrogen Enriched Gasolines, brought to you in part by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and by True Value, the tools, products, and expert advice for all your project needs. True Value. Start right. Start here.
Jimmie Johnson made his very first NASCAR Sprint Cup Series start at Lowe's Motor Speedway, October of 2001. Since that race, he's gone on to win 41 times and has won 3 consecutive championships. And welcome Jimmie Johnson to Trackside Live in Uptown, Charlotte, North Carolina. What's up, man?
Sit down, brother.
Great crowd here.
What is that?
Foot
Wait,
Lion,
what does that
Speed
mean up there? Open happiness.
That means we're all happy.
stage.
Well, is that the name of this stage? Open happiness?
I think that means when you open a Coca-Cola, you're opening.
Oh, opening happiness.
Yeah, how
I
about
got you.
that? I think
Are you
that's
sure
the deal.
about that?
Well, I didn't know. That's why I asked.
Yeah.
I knew I'd ask someone that knew, and Larry takes all the notes. He does all the research.
I didn't have a note on that one. I just kind of put two and two together here.
And his adopted son, Rutledge, is looking for him. That's two things I found out.
Mr. Johnson,
We got
help us out here a little bit.
I don't
for
know
him
if I
to
want to be in
find
this.
Sure you do. Get on in the water. Water's fine.
How are you?
I'm very good. Doing well. I'm ready for DW to beat up on me a little bit.
Oh,
My
no,
haircut,
no.
My beard.
No,
No, nothing?
I told him, I
Jaws,
said,
come
let's
on.
throw him down tonight and shave it off of him. Let's just throw him down on the stage tonight.
There isn't much left to
Shave.
take down.
No, then you got the haircut. Now I don't know what to do. You got to explain to the guys and everybody here. A couple of years ago, you went riding on a golf cart. Now, this was the story the way it first came out, so that's why I'm asking you. So first came out, you said you were riding on a golf cart and you fell off.
I mean, doesn't
Then
matter.
it came out that
Details.
you were actually being like Batman and riding on top of the golf cart, and that's really what happened. So tell us about the haircut and what really happened.
No, what really did happen was 7 very cute neighborhood kids thought it'd be a great idea to shave my head. Their father went in first and pulled it off.
Who are these people anyway?
You would know them. I'm going to leave them anonymous as of now. But the kids thought it would be a great idea. I balked for a couple hours, and then I finally let them do it. And I have some great photos I'll show you guys. There's 7 kids from probably 4 years old to 8 with the clippers just going at it. And it's still that way. I need to get it tuned up. There's a few long spots left.
Next.
Are you absolutely sure adult beverages were not involved?
No, they weren't.
They had to be.
I wish I could blame it on that, but this is just, some kids that got my heart. And
I mean,
what the heck?
I vowed to stay out of this hair deal because I know
No.
what road I'm going to go down.
And you can see why he didn't want to talk about hair. I mean, very obvious.
I'd like to have those clippings you cut off.
Jimmy, what is it about racing at Lowe's Motor Speedway here in Charlotte? You know, you've got 5 wins there, 3 600 wins, and you made your very first start here. What is it about this track that you and Chad and the entire 48 team seem to like so much?
I think over the years, the fact that the track was so rough and abrasive, it fit my driving style, and it also worked very well for Chad. Now that the track's been resurfaced and everything's changed, nobody really has an advantage. We've seen some new winners. I think Casey Kane's probably won there more than anyone here in the last 2 years. But it's a very challenging track, and I think the 600-mile race fits our style. And we make good decisions and usually adjust on the car very well during the course of a night, and that just all blends together for a good track. And thankfully, being the Lowe's car at Lowe's Motor Speedway, it's paid off.
Now, one thing that I did felt like maybe motivated the haircut. We saw the shot on pit road last night of you and Mark Martin standing beside each other. But aside from that, Mark Martin, I believe he's motivated everybody at Hendrick Motorsports.
He's done a great job. And the thing I enjoy to do as well is to give Chad Knaus a hard time. So he doesn't like the haircut either or the beard. So the more I can harass him, the better I feel.
Now we're talking.
You know that.
Now you're talking.
That's
but-
all adding up.
Make that crew chief as miserable as you can.
But Mark, he's doing a great job. I mean, everybody has been a fan of Mark Martin. Even if you don't buy his gear, everybody's respected what that man has done. And he's come and he's done a great job, and he's brought a lot of life to that 5 team. And very proud to call him a teammate and work with him.
Good.
Do me a favor, slap him.
Hey.
I don't want to hit a senior citizen.
That's right. Thank you for the respect.
That could have gone so far the other way, and he took it.
I think that was almost
like
better.
that.
That was almost better than hitting him.
I don't deserve it.
Hey, I'm just looking at your shirt you got on there, Team
Yeah.
Lowe's Racing. Little different look this time for your car. And I know that Chad had a lot to do with it, but that darn car looks, I mean, you've had some good looking race cars, but I think that car looks exceptionally sharp this weekend for Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, thank you. It's really Chad's father raced this car, a car that looked a lot like this in the mid-'70s. And Lowe's does a great job of honoring our armed service men and women when we come around for Memorial Day weekend. And between that project and Chad's idea, it came together, and it's a great-looking race car. There's over 12,000 names on the hood and the deck lid of the car, and those are all enlisted service men and women that work for Lowe's that have either been in the service or in it now. So it's great to have them on the car, and thank you all for everything you do to represent our country. and take care
Amen,
of us.
brother. Thank you.
Well said.
We actually told the story last night because y'all always ran the Power of Pride paint scheme. And
Yeah.
you didn't run it last year, and Chad told me that he had a serviceman come up to him at Pocono 2 weeks later and said, "Why did you guys not run the paint scheme? We love that paint scheme." So I think that kind of motivated
Certainly
bringing
helped
it back.
Yeah, absolutely. And we run really well with special paint schemes on the car, so I'm happy for a lot of reasons.
The one thing I want to say real quick, and I've been talking to the fans earlier today, and I think everybody will agree with me on this. This Memorial Day weekend, folks, just like his team did, as far as you know, welcoming and celebrating the fact that, you know, the troops, we've got to remember the fact we've lost a lot of men in great wars around this, from all the way around this country. I love this country. Thank you, servicemen and women everywhere who are serving us today, and also remember the ones who gave up their lives for our country.
And you want to watch the pre-race show come Sunday, because
I hear you folks, louder. USA, USA. I love it, man. I love it.
Very cool.
We'll have more with Jimmie Johnson in just a minute. Meanwhile, we want to remind you that we're going to Dover, Delaware next weekend, and next Friday on Speed, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series takes on the Monster Mile, a track that turns the toughest trucks into piles of twisted metal. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed, Friday at 8 Eastern. To locate campgrounds near the Dover International Speedway, visit GoRVing.com. You'll also find virtual RV tours, a free DVD offer, and RV dealer and rental locations in your area. Well, last weekend at Lowe's Motor Speedway, and again this weekend, a Toyota Camry Hybrid is the official pace car of the race.
Yeah, it's the first time that there's as far as I know, it's the first time there's been a hybrid pace car for certainly any NASCAR races. I'm not sure about anywhere else in the world, but this is the technology of the future. This is what I think one day when we look back, this is the 50th anniversary, 50 years from now, we'll look back and say, what were we thinking when we had all those gasoline engines? I think electric cars, hybrid cars, and certainly Toyota is leading the way with their hybrid technology. And that thing will run, won't it, Jeff?
Yes, it will. I got a chance to drive it the other day, and I was very impressed with the performance of that vehicle.
They're good. They're fast. They got a lot of power. Hey, talking about power, this is a 600-mile race. And all through the years, I know guys have talked about that extra 100 miles and how hard it is on you physically and how they have to prepare for that. I read something that just fascinated me, that you said, I know guys that have gone to the infield care center and gotten IVs the night before the race to hydrate themselves.
Right.
But you said you don't think that's a good idea, or you don't think hydrating is a good idea.
No, hydrating is a really important part of it, and I think over the course of the season, your hydration starts ratcheting down, and it's really important to get the right fluids in you, and Gatorade's worked so hard to put the systems in the car. I don't know where that came from, but I'm scared to death of needles, so maybe it had something to do with me and IVs and needles.
You may have been joking. You may have been joking, because it said, well, if I do all that, then I got to go to the bathroom more than I really need to.
Well, yeah, going to the bathroom is never a comfortable thing in the car. I refuse to go.
And then food, what do you eat?
I eat a lot in the car. Yeah, during the
race?
course of the race, they definitely feed me some food, and plenty of fluids going in. So.
Hey, Jimmy, you and I were talking backstage, and you had a question for Darrell. I think you should ask him about it.
I was trying to figure out how to segue into
Is it a senior moment?
Well, kind of. I mean, did you forget the rules of the Burnout contest?
No.
I mean, in your defense, you did a decent job, and then you run out of bounds.
I thought I was finished.
Don't you know that there's a wall there? You're not supposed to go below the yellow line,
but
the
they
white
said,
line, whatever it is.
The lady that was riding with me said our time was up, 30 seconds. Well, I was headed.
He's still the driver.
I was headed off the track.
And I respect every
driver mentality.
So I said, I don't want to back up, so I'll just drive through the grass and go back to where we were.
I thought you did a good job.
All right, well, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the Pennzoil Victory Challenge from Lowe's Motor Speedway last week.
It's a lot easier in the parking lot, I got to tell you.
DW's going to give it his best fly in the 17 flag. Careful, 15 seconds in. Got to stay out of the grass, DW.
He's
in the grass.
Oh!
No, I wasn't.
That's DNQ.
He's taking the Pennzoil sign out little by little.
I'm not in the grass. Did you see any grass?
I saw the sign move, but I think that was the rear of the car.
Yeah.
Now
I'm in the grass.
You're going to hurt someone.
Now I'm in the grass.
I don't think he'll get too many good points for that one.
I'm afraid the judges are going to have to throw up the DQ right away. He's in the grass.
A lot of entertainment value. I'm not sure about the burnout score. What do you think?
Typical DW, he pretty much broke every rule there was in this deal, and you know what, this is all for fun, and great to see DW out there, though. I loved it.
That was so much
They told me you broke all the rules.
I couldn't have. I've never done that before. You know, back in my day, if I'd have done that, I'd gotten fired. So it was fun to have a car that, they said just go out there and see if you can blow it up.
So that was fun. How come you weren't in it?
Awesome job. What do you think? I thought that was an awesome
That's a pretty
job.
good job.
Yeah. Like a technicality. All right, Jimmy.
Suck up.
I'm going to stick up for my old buddy DW. He may have forgotten the rules of the Pennzoil Challenge, But there seemed to be a little confusion on your part about the All-Star. So what we did, we made you a format. We want you to shrink it down, but next year we want you to put that on your dash of your car. That way you won't have to aggravate Chad by asking.
See, I want to aggravate Chad. That is my goal. I want to drive him crazy.
He just wants to. He's harassing Chad.
No, you know, you guys clearly heard all of my confusion on the radio.
Listen to this.
Let's listen in.
Yeah.
You're doing a really good job, man. Really good job. Get something to drink here. Get yourself something to drink. This is an intermission. Not an intermission. This is just a yellow flag pit stop here, bud. 10 laps to the end, right? We got two 20-lap segments. To go. Christ, man. We do 20 laps now, another caution, another 20, and then the intermission. We're way too tight. We're good for 10 laps, but way too tight for 25 or 20. Just went 225 cents, and it took that whole run to get to you. I think we're pretty close. We're going to free up a little bit.
It went on more, too.
We know. We know.
Do a lot of it.
Hey, he's going to look like Larry if you don't quit doing that.
He already does. Take his hat off.
The thing changes so often that I just didn't even get involved this time. I thought there was an inversion and all kinds of stuff, and quickly I realized there wasn't.
Now, I just want you to know, Hammond did the Jimmie Johnson. He spelled it with a Y to start with.
Thanks, buddy.
We'll be right back to Uptown Charlotte. Just a few weeks, we're getting ready to head to the Irish Hills of Michigan. Tickets are still available if you're making the trek or live in the area. Call 1-800-354-1010 or visit misspeedway.com. And it's time now for our Inside Sprint Cup Mobile feature. This week we take a sneak listen into the radio chatter from the All-Star race last Saturday night.
Radio, check, 1, 2. 10-4, got you. Check, 1, 2. I got you there. You got me okay? Got a copy. 10-4.
This is an all-out dash for the cash tonight.
Green flag is in the air.
Now it's kind of coming to me. I'll remind you when you get to 10 and 20 for a report. So they just took off. Right, 4 tires. Something still broke. 10 laps to the end, right? We got two 20-lap segments. To go. Man, we do 20 laps now, another caution, another 20, and then the intermission. We're way too tight. All right, dude, we're staying. 4 is still the magic number. Copy that. I want you to stay out. No matter what happens, just stay out. When you come to run fifth. Fifth in this race don't mean nothing. The only way we're going to win is to stay out. 10-4.
Whoa, we got some of them that are staying out. The big fake job by Kyle Busch and Matt Kenseth.
Hell, they all were down there like they were coming. Yeah, 10-4. I think it was only 2 in front of you there. It's all right.
10 green flag lap. Look at that. Kyle Busch tried to time it. Matt Kenseth slammed the door on it.
Jimmie Johnson gets loose. He gets punted and spins on the back straightaway.
Yeah, stay in line till they cross start finish line. Should be a complete restart. Go tell the 17 to calm down, man. I didn't do anything wrong. I got a better start than he did. I can pass to the outside. No, I can't. That was my fault. David's complaining about him, but, you know, if they didn't throw the caution there, he would have got away with what he just did.
Wow.
That was Kyle Busch. That was funny,
awesome.
wasn't it?
That was great.
Really funny. You know, something I noticed last week, we were timing the laps. You know, when you were on your qualifying runs, and you ran like I'm going to say a 28:30, I think it was.
Yeah, it was
on
down
your
in the
fast
30s,
lap.
late 40s.
And you said last night you thought you'd be able to run a 28:20. I think.
Yeah.
Was a kind of a. Why were the cars slower last night?
I think that the sun was on the track longer yesterday and that the track temperature was up is all that I can come up with. I really expected the times to be faster, and I drove my car off into one hoping that it, you know, I had that type of grip, and I was just way too loose. So I think the track grip was down.
Well, coming up, we're going to go to the Lazy Boy Lounge. Larry Mack and Jimmie Johnson will be hanging out here on the stage. Stay with us here at Food Lion, Speed Street in Uptown Charlotte. Glad you're with us here on Speed. Food Lion, Speed Street in Uptown Charlotte, North Carolina. The place to be this weekend. A big party on town as this entire city celebrates. Time now to go into the Lazy Boy Lounge with Larry Mack and Jimmie Johnson.
Man, Jimmy, with the weather like this, it doesn't get much better than this, does it?
Pretty comfortable chairs, too. Thank you.
You know, I know you probably would not find a driver in that garage area in the Sprint Cup Series that their family did make sacrifices to help get them to this level. But when I look at your family, your dad, Gary, you started racing on motorcycles.
Yeah.
And in California. Your dad, Gary, he worked in a tire store. Your mom, Kathy, drove a school bus, but they would load you and your two brothers, Jared and Jesse, up, and y'all would go off camping and racing every weekend. And this is what was amazing that I found out. Your dad would help them prepare the racetrack, and your mom would go work in the concession stand.
Yeah, my dad actually was and is now still working and doing heavy equipment stuff right now. And at that time, he would go and prepare the local tracks. My grandparents owned a motorcycle shop in the area, and my dad would go out and take care of the kids and sponsor, work with the kids at the tracks. And then my mom would run the snack bar. Later on, my dad actually worked for the tire company for BF Goodrich Tires in the off-road racing industry, and that was really the helpful. He helped me get established in the garage area and know everyone to get my chance to test and really get into a four-wheeled vehicle. So my parents have made amazing sacrifices for me and my brothers to go racing. My mom never had the nice car or nice clothes. We lived in a great house, but it certainly wasn't the nicest one. But we had brand new motorcycles, and we traveled all around the country and raced. That's just what we did.
You know, we had a little fun talking about Chad Knaus a while ago, but with Greg Zippodelli and Tony Stewart going their separate ways, you guys now have one of the longest running driver-crew chief relationships out there. Other than when he had a few issues, you've never had anybody in your ear in a Sprint Cup Series car with the exception of Chad Knaus, your 8th year together. Everybody would think that just works and comes naturally, but almost like a marriage, you have to work that relationship with Chad.
You do. I mean, we've had some amazing times, obviously, with the success we've had, and there's also been tough times. And I think the tough times have made us respect one another more than anything. And we have a great friendship and a great deal of respect for one another, great working relationship, and just like any relationship, man, those tough times really what make you think hard about that other person and how important it is to have them a part of your life and your career and stuff. And Chad, there's nobody that's more focused. And once we really understood that his frustration and my frustration was the fact that we weren't where we wanted to be, it wasn't at one another.
Yeah.
Then the whole, a lot of things opened up for us from there. And at the end of 2005, and a lot of great things have happened.
You have one win in 2009. You got it at Martinsville. And as we all know, within the sport, Martinsville is very significant to Hendrick Motorsports. But I thought it was so fitting that one of the Hendrick cars, the 25th anniversary of Hendrick Motorsports' first win there with Jeffrey Bodine, and that Jeff was there when you guys went to Victory Lane. All the drivers were there.
Rick wasn't there the year that they won their first one. He was in Charlotte doing something, and I found that story pretty funny that Jeff Bodine had told me there. It's such a special track, and it's also a track that's been so tough on the Hendrick family as well with the plane crash. But to be there and to be a part of what Rick has done in the sport means so much to me. I remember coming into the team, to the shop one day, and they just won their 100th victory. And I watched this great ceremony take place, and I thought, man, I hope I could be a part of this someday. I hope I can win a race. And to now have won the races and championships and to win significant races for Rick like that is really special.
Now, you and Shani, your wife, y'all have worked so hard with this Jimmie Johnson Foundation. And I was reading the other day where y'all have a program now that's called the Ultimate Ride of a Lifetime, where fans can pretty much purchase time in a race car with you. And I think your beneficiaries through the Jimmie Johnson Foundation is the Thompson Child and Family Focus.
Yeah, here in the Charlotte area, what we do is we put on fundraisers in each town, and the money that's raised in that town, we try to give back to that community. So we're doing our Ride of a Lifetime event here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. It's coming up here in a short period of time. People come out, get to ride with me in the race car, and I've actually sent the car over to the race shop, and Chad and the guys have gone through it, prepped it, so it's going to run some good lap times, and then the money raised from that will go back to the Charlotte community.
Well, I know we're comfortable here, but we got to go back over there where we can pick on Hammond and DW just a little bit more. We're going to come back, have a little more with Jimmie Johnson here at Speed Street, Uptown Charlotte, and I bet you when we come back, we'll work hard and we'll play hard.
Part of the beautiful skyline of Uptown Charlotte, North Carolina. Food Lion Speed Street underway. A week-long celebration of NASCAR racing. And we're proud to be a small part of it on this Memorial Day weekend. Jeff Hammond, Larry McReynolds, Steve Burns, and DW back with three-time and defending NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion Jimmie Johnson. Jimmie, I'm curious, you grew up in Southern California near San Diego, but you've been in Charlotte, and you and your wife are, I guess, going on 9-10 years. Yeah. How do you like this area?
I love this area. I moved out in '97, and then my wife moved down, I guess, 4 or 5 years ago now, and this is home. We really, really love the Charlotte area. Amazing friends, amazing city, amazing state. This is a great spot to be.
Now, you were critiquing my burnouts there a bit ago, and you need to work on your golf game.
Oh, yes, I do. I agree with you on that.
I guess let's take a look. This was a few weeks ago out in Sonoma.
Oh, that's pitiful.
Oh, that was here at Quail Hollow. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, there's a great shot that I have. So I'm in the bushes.
Yeah.
Now that one.
And that's definitely in the grass.
That one came up onto the green. It ended up like 4 inches from the pin. And I actually parred the hole. There's Anthony.
Y'all finished second with a 58 is what I read.
Yeah,
I think,
we
right?
overall finished second, but in the afternoon round that we played in, we won. So
wow.
I actually have a trophy from a golf tournament, which I never thought I would have.
And then you picked the wine for the race this weekend?
That's right, coming up in Sonoma, actually.
Or in Sonoma.
The Sonoma race. I think it's Bennett Hill is the name of the winery. Those guys are out there.
Bennett Lane.
Bennett Lane, that's right.
Yeah.
Great guys, and good.
You got to get you a road course win.
I know. We're working on it, man. We've been testing.
Who's the guy with all the hair?
I know. Wow. Thankfully, my wife started making it look better. No, they did a great job. They had an event out there, and a bunch of a ticket package that was selling very well out there. So they're ready for us in Sonoma. Let's go out there and go racing. Grab some gears.
Jimmie, right quick, again, you've had so much success here at Lowe's. When you get ready to go into this race, we've talked about it, 600 miles. I mean, it's a very grueling race. I mean, you have to stay focused for a long time. What do you and Chad, give us a glimpse of what you guys talk about and, what you kind of strategy you put together. Just an overview of getting together and putting your game, basically the battle plan together.
Yeah, as you guys know, everybody works so hard to build adjustability into the car, and I know that statement's used a lot, and it's tough for the fans to understand it, but as you guys know, there are a lot of tools that you have to work on the car, and you try to set a plan in place to keep freeing the car up typically as the night goes on. Sometimes it gets looser, and I don't understand why some tracks get looser and some get tighter, but you try to build that adjustability into the car, try to stay calm and stay consistent. And if I get riled up, Chad tries to bring me down, and the same goes. But then the other big piece that seemed to be important the other night was track position. So now with the tire lasting like it has, is it 2 tires, fuel only? When do you go for 4? Is it only under green flag you take 4 and you take 2 under cautions? That's the part that's going to be really tough from pit lane this weekend.
You did the tire test?
I did.
And I asked Larry this, and I don't know if I've ever asked anybody. Did they test at night?
We did not test at night. It was all during the day.
Yeah.
And they've got a tough job on their hands. what we focused on was stability. And at Las Vegas, they had the old Vegas tire and brought a new one that made the cars much more comfortable. And they took me through that as well, and definitely made the car more comfortable. It's a very durable tire, doesn't give up much, which makes them happy. But as you guys know, we want some fall off, and they're trying to find that balance of a durable tire and one that has some fall off. And in some ways, they built just too good of a tire.
That's an awesome tire.
Yeah.
They did a great job with the tire. But right quick, you talk about the pit stops now, 2 tires, gas, whatever. How much input do you give Chad, or you pretty much just rely on Chad to make that call?
I know the answer to this.
I do too, but I want him to answer it.
I want nothing to do with that. That's his job, man.
Basically, you're going to shut up and drive, right?
He reminds you that it's his job,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, there's a couple times that he asked me, well, what do you think? I'm like, buddy, that's your call, not mine.
Do you ever know what setups are, springs or shocks, or do you get into any of that?
I have a good idea what's going on. But with what works in today's world and with the bump stops and how everything goes on, I don't have enough confidence to say that I need right rear spring. Because in a lot of times it doesn't work like it used to, or this certain bump stop. I mean, I try to be a computer and tell them what I feel, and it goes from there, and it works really well for us.
Jeff and I have words of wisdom for you. Stop aggravating the crew chief.
That's right. Come back to haunt you.
On him. I got to lighten up some.
This is the nicest young man at the racetrack right here, and I like what he does. And he keeps that crew chief on his toes. Don't let him rest.
Thank you.
He'll be eating ice cream over there if you don't stay on it.
Jimmie, it's hard to believe. We broadcast your very first win at California. It's hard to believe you've already won 41 races and 3 championships. Continued success because, as Darrell said, you're a great gentleman.
Thank you, guys.
You're great for the sport. Thanks
I
for spending
appreciate
time
it.
with us.
Thank you for the friendships. Thanks to the fans for coming out, and we'll put on a good show this weekend.
We'll have more from Uptown Charlotte. Food Lion Speed Street continues. Stay with us here on Speed on a great Memorial Day weekend. This weekend kicks off the Prilosec OTC Barbecue Shootout Series, and Rutledge Wood is here to give us a taste of how the competition is heating up.
I hope I'm not double parked. Chirp, chirp. So there I was flying around with the Thunderbirds, and I said, do you guys smell barbecue? Because I smell barbecue. We got to land this plane. And sure enough, right across from us is the Prilosec OTC Barbecue Shootout Series. Let me show you how to get some free barbecue. Come on. You know, barbecue's not just for amateurs. We have some real professionals. And Leanne and Billy are here from Woodchuck's Barbecue. Now, Leanne, what did you guys win last weekend?
We just won the Virginia State Championship, Grand Champion in Chesapeake, Virginia. So we're really happy about that.
This is championship barbecue that you get to try right here for free. So since we can't just do meat, we got to do some veggies sometimes. Yeah. What do you start with? Obviously, you wash them first.
They take you some little cooking oil. You can use olive oil, any kind of cooking oil, even a vegetable spray. You know, just spray them, and all you're doing with that is just kind of keep them from burning. So, and then just we use just a barbecue rub on a regular seasoning.
That smells good.
It smells good, doesn't it?
A guy on the barbecue tour doesn't eat veggies all the time? Our Dale Jr. fan trying the grilled veggies. Yeah. Are they smoky? Is it soft? What do you think?
It's smoky. It's really good.
That's good.
Now out here at the display, they even have one of Jeff Burton's cars out here. Smells like someone's baking a cake. Let's find out what that is. Mike, who came up with the idea of grilling fruit and cake and putting it all together for a great dessert?
Well, you know, a chef friend of ours came up with it a couple weeks ago. Man, she just hooked us with it.
And it's just no turning back then.
No turning back. Once you sink your teeth into it, you want to do it all the time.
I made you all a little, but I can't get it to you at home. Just close your eyes and imagine, cake and apple and caramel and whipped cream. It's good, isn't it? I know. It's really good.
Today's barbecue event is proud to support the Speedway Children's Charities. To learn more about these worthy causes, please visit www.speedwaycharities.org. Well, coming up here on Trackside, we are going to talk about the Hall of Fame here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Winston Kelly joins us.
Trackside is presented by new Shell Nitrogen Enriched Gasolines. Brought to you in part by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and by Prilosec OTC. Block the burn all day and all night.
After 600 miles on Sunday here in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Lowe's Motor Speedway, we're going to Dover, Delaware, the Monster Mile. Next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Mark Martin and Alan Gustafson will join us.
Crab cakes and concrete, baby.
That's how we do it.
Yeah.
Winston Kelly is with us. Let's talk Hall of Fame, Winston.
We're ready to open next year. This time we'll be open about 4 blocks from here. Hope everybody will come. We know we're going to have a little bit of DW in there.
Oh, yeah.
Did a little show.
What do you got to do to get in there anyway?
Well, there'll be 25 people that'll be nominated this year in June, be announced in July, and then the top 5 will be voted in. We'll announce that in October this year. So, you know, my money's on you're going to be in that top 25. Now, when you get in that top 5 now, you know, I can't go there. But,
come on, buddy. All that we've been through together, all those interviews we did back in the day.
Well, I've got 1 vote. That's all I got. But we also brought a little show and tell that we thought would be nice for this panel. We've got the very first award that was ever given out in New York. Tim Brewer, Darrell Waltrip, crew chief, back in 1981. And Larry will remember the gentleman that wore these boots. Liz Allison gave us these boots. Just a couple of the things that we'll have in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. So we're going to go back in time and remember those who got us here.
I'm glad you cleaned those boots up a little bit because Davey used them on Larry quite often.
Hey, I hate to say this, but do you think this belt will still go around Tim Brewer's waist?
No, they don't either.
Let's not go there. None of us can wear what we had in 1981.
I think go around his head now.
I knew that's where you were going.
But Winston, can you give us some idea? I mean, you've talked to so many, I mean, I'm sure guys like Jimmie Johnson and Cale Yarborough and David Pearson. Just how many people have you been in contact with to try to start getting this stuff kind of gathered up? Because, I mean, that's a big building you got to fill up.
Well, we've got over 2,500 items in our database. Now, we don't have that many in hand, but Muzz Bakim has collected close to 1,000 items. So, you know, if you think about it's almost 1 item per person that we've talked to, you know, and we've got a lot of different items. You know, we've got some stuff at DW's coming. So we've probably talked to well over 1,000 different people.
Hey, Jeff, remember we were down in Daytona and we did the interview over there at the, at NASCAR office, and all that stuff that Buzz had in there then.
Right, all those photographs. I mean, you got some fantastic, I guess you might say, memorabilia. It gives you an opportunity to kind of like walk back through time. I mean, I love looking at old photographs because a lot of things I don't remember nowadays.
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing that I enjoy the history so much because we all grew up in it. But there's things for people who aren't race fans. There are a lot of interactive opportunities that people can see what the current race shop, race track are like, the transporters, the cars from back in the day and today. So it bridges the gaps from 1947 all the way up to today and looking to the future.
Hey, Winston, right quick. You were supposed to help Rutledge get here to the stage. Did you bring him? Because we haven't seen him.
It depends on what kind of luck we're having tonight.
Winston, I'm back here. I'm back here.
Back where?
Where's my hero?
I made it.
Where's my hero?
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna squeeze through here. I'm sorry. I'm late. I went to the wrong stage.
Hey, Winston, does Rutledge have anything in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, there's a restroom down in the basement area. We've got him really identified well.
Hey, guys, I want to wish Van Colley, our old buddy over there, happy birthday. That's coming up this next week.
Oh, happy birthday.
To do it.
Salute.
Forget.
Our thanks to Winston Kelly and Jimmie Johnson. Coming up next, the World of Outlaws, live here on Speed.